Hi cuties, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If this is the first video of mine that you're stumbling upon, welcome. My name is Melanie. I post all about beauty, lifestyle, mental health, personal finance, and just living life in my late 20s. So I would love if you would subscribe to my channel, and let's just get right into what the video is about. So I have been using TRETINOIN for almost 2 years. I can't believe that it's been that long. It's been an up and down journey, and I wanted to share some of that with you. So I have created a video on my channel before all about Miss TRETINOIN, and I'm gonna link that video in the cards because that will give you some really good context of the beginning of my journey. If you've stumbled across this video because you're just starting out on TRETINOIN, I highly recommend that you watch that video all the way through, then come back to this one and see what your journey could look like in years to come. We're playing the long game, okay? So I need you to understand that you're not gonna get results immediately, but it's worth it to go on the journey. My hope is that once you finish this video, you're gonna feel a lot more hopeful for the journey that you're about to embark on. And TRETINOIN is something that like really helped improve the quality of my life. I know that that sounds a little bit dramatic, but it's true. If you have acne, if you're suffering with acne right now, you know that it can be debilitating. You know that sometimes you will cancel plans or you will say no to plans because you are dealing with acne, and it can really impact the quality of your life. So if you're watching this video, first of all, my heart goes out to you after struggling for 10 years, using so many different products, spending so much money at Sephora and trying all of these different things. And what I realized was that I really needed medical help. I really needed prescription strength medication to deal with my acne, which was a medical issue for me. So if you're in the same boat, I highly recommend that you look into TRETINOIN. Maybe you've already been prescribed TRETINOIN. Watch this video through. I'm gonna be sharing from my perspective as someone who is just a regular person who is using TRETINOIN. So anything that I say in this video is not backed by a dermatologist. I'm not a dermatologist. Obviously, I hope that that's clear. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a skincare specialist. I'm simply sharing what my experience has been. So in my last video, I got a lot of comments and questions asking specific things about their routine, and unfortunately, I'm just not qualified to give that information to you. You wouldn't want me to anyways, because that would be an uneducated answer. So I highly recommend that you speak with your healthcare professional or whoever prescribed you the TRETINOIN. But if you're just wondering about what a person's journey has been on TRETINOIN, this video is for you. A lot of times when a dermatologist or a doctor is giving us a medication, they're telling us about how to use it, what the risks are, but they're not really giving that much more information of like what your experience will be, because a lot of times they themselves haven't gone through that experience. So that's where I come in, and I'm just gonna give you all of the details of what my experience has been, having been on TRETINOIN for almost 2 years now. Before we get to today, let's rewind a little bit and let's take a look at what my skin looked like beforehand. So I wanna mention that I am wearing makeup in this video, and my skin is also not perfect. TRETINOIN did not erase my acne entirely, but it helped it probably 75%. So I'm gonna insert some pictures here of what my acne looked like before getting on TRETINOIN 2 years ago. I had been struggling with acne since I was probably 15, and I started using TRETINOIN when I was about 27. So this was a long journey. It was over 10 years, and my acne took me to some really dark places mentally. So again, I truly understand what you're going through if you're watching this video and you're feeling like you are in despair. I totally get it. I kind of got to the point where I accepted that acne was a part of me, that there were some things that I could do to help it, but I sort of just thought that I was gonna have acne forever. I stumbled upon TRETINOIN by seeing a video from one of my favorite skincare and makeup creators. Her name is Rudy Berry. You've probably seen her either on YouTube, Instagram, or TikTok. She has blown up, and I'm so happy that she's seen that success because she was actually the person that introduced me to TRETINOIN. I believe I found her video on TikTok, and then I consumed her TRETINOIN content on YouTube as well as on TikTok. And she just opened my eyes to what this product is. So if you don't know what TRETINOIN is, basically it's a retinoid. So you've probably heard of retinols. A retinoid is an even stronger version of a retinol. So we use retinols for anti-aging, to sort of like clear dead skin cells off, and a retinoid is that like on steroids. It is prescription strength. You can only get it through a dermatologist or a healthcare provider. I actually got mine from the website Felix. I highly recommend this website. I have no affiliation to them. Honestly, Felix, I would love to work with you. So if you want to sponsor me, my DMs are open. But I have been using Felix the whole time that I've been on tretinoin. It is so easy. You basically go through a consultation. You can submit pictures of your skin, you answer a questionnaire, and they come up with an acne regimen for you. I've continued to get tretinoin and other products from Felix for the entire 2 years. They accept insurance, so if you have insurance, then you'll be able to cover some of that cost. I have to pay a little bit extra, but it's so worth it. I mean, if you have acne, you know that oftentimes you're so desperate, you'll pay like any amount of money to get rid of the problem. I use Felix. You can also go to your doctor and inquire about getting a referral to a dermatologist. I've also been to dermatologists in the past, but when I found tretinoin through Rudy's video and I knew that I wanted to try it out, I was just like, I need this right away. And so I looked up if there was an online dermatology or anything like that, and there's a lot of them in the States. I'll link the ones that I know in the description box. And I found Felix, and Felix was in Canada, and I was so thankful, and I got right on that. And then within, I think, a week, my tretinoin came in the mail and I started. I consumed a lot of content about tretinoin so that I knew what to expect and how to go into it, and I'm gonna be sharing some of those tips with you today as well. So the beginning of my journey looked like the pictures that I showed you. I was in a pretty bad place with my acne, if I'm being honest. Mentally, I was really struggling because at that point I was 27. I thought that, you know, I had outgrown the acne. I thought that when I was nearing my 30s, instead of having to worry about wrinkles and acne, I was just gonna have to be worrying about wrinkles. Fun fact, tretinoin actually helps with wrinkles as well because it is anti-aging as well. So like, honestly, it's just kind of like a miracle product, but you have to know how to use it correctly. So again, I'm gonna tell you how I use it in this video, and it's always best to consult with your dermatologist or whoever prescribed tretinoin to know your specific regimen. So please don't just take what I'm saying and apply it right into your life. Take some inspo, listen to me, see what my routine is, but please make sure that you're doing your research and doing what's best for you. So we know what my skin looked like before. We know what my skin looks like right now with makeup on. I'm gonna insert a clip of me without any face makeup on. You'll see that I definitely have some redness in my chin area. My chin area is my problem area. Like I said before, I still do get breakouts, just way, way, way less than I did before. And there was a period of time, probably about 8 months in, when I filmed that last tretinoin video where I had zero acne. But then as I got through my journey, there was definitely some acne that popped up, but again, way more manageable. And to the point where, you know, it wasn't ruining my mental health. It was just something that I had to deal with a blemish every once in a while. So I did have a blemish, I think from traveling a couple of weeks ago. So my skin is definitely healing from that. So there's some redness, also a little bit of texture here. I also have some texture in this area just in general, because once you've had acne for 12 years in this area, like your skin doesn't look like it did when you were a baby. And that's okay. Now we know kind of like what tretinoin did to my skin for, you know, 2 years. If you want to see what my skin looked like 8 months in, you can see that video that I posted up there. Honestly, my skin was looking fresh in that video. I will mention as well, in that video, I had fresh Botox. So if my forehead is looking nice and tight and shiny, that's why. I don't have fresh Botox right now, but I still think my forehead looks pretty good. But I just wanted to mention that because that's something to consider as well, as when you're looking at people and their skin. They may have other, you know, let's say medical enhancements, and some people are not always that forthcoming about that. So I just wanted to mention that as well, that Botox is part of my skin journey as well. I wanted to talk about what my tretinoin routine actually is. So it actually hasn't changed that much in the past 2 years. I've used it pretty consistently, and I'm gonna talk about where I want my tretinoin routine to go later on in this video, but let's just talk about what I've been doing. So I have tretinoin 0.025. So I believe that this is the weakest tretinoin that you can get, like the weakest percentage. And this is where Felix or other dermatologists often will start you on, because you want to start low, go slow. Your skin is going to get dry and flaky. Likely, this happens to most people. Everyone's is going to be a little bit different, but you want to make sure that you're going really slow, and you want to make sure that you're using a tiny, tiny, tiny amount of this. I see people using way too much tretinoin on TikTok, on YouTube. If you use more, this is what I've learned from different resources, is that if you use more, it's not gonna speed up the recovery of your acne, it's just gonna lead to more irritation. And I found that to be true. And that's why I have continued to use tretinoin every second day or every third day. I haven't worked up to using it every night, even though I've been using tretinoin for 2 years. It's a really powerful ingredient. And so you just don't want to overdo it, especially in the beginning. You're going to put it on, you're going to be like, oh, my skin doesn't feel too dry, but the effects come, I find that there's a bit of a lag. So I find that if I, for example, let's say I was going hard and I used tretinoin 3 nights in a row, even 2 nights in a row, then, you know, the following days I'd be like, oh, okay, like I got through it. Couple days later, that's when the dryness would really come in and I would be like peeling like a snake. So please be careful, especially when you first start it. I know that you're anxious to get results. The results will come. You have to be patient. You don't want to ruin your skin's moisture barrier, and you don't want to deal with all this flaking, because if you're dealing with active acne, the last thing you want is that if you have these active breakouts, then you also have the flakiness, and then it makes for that you can't even use makeup because the makeup just flakes off and it just ends up being very distressing. Another thing is that you're likely going to experience a purge. So a purge is when your active acne, all of it comes to the surface, because tretinoin works by speeding up your cell regeneration. And so that means that all the active acne that was kind of under the surface bubbling is going to all come up at once. You're going to deal with a lot of active breakouts. The purge can last, mine lasted like 3 months. I'm not even going to sugarcoat this. Mine literally lasted 3 to 4 months. I talk more about the purge in my other video, but please be prepared that that might happen to you. It's something you have to go through. Most people experience a purge, and if you want the benefits of tretinoin, that's just how the product works. From what I have researched, it's not creating new breakouts, it's just bringing what you already had to the surface and kind of speeding it up, which when you think about it, that's kind of what you want. You want to get it over with. That's something to consider, is that you're likely going to purge. But anyway, so my routine has stayed pretty much the same. I use a pea-size amount of tretinoin. Then you're going to want to take it, put it between your fingers, go like this, then dot, 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 dot. You're gonna have the tiniest bit of tretinoin all over your face, and then rub it in. You're gonna wanna do this on completely dry skin. So if you use tretinoin on wet skin or even a little bit damp, that increases the irritation that you're gonna find. So people recommend to wash your face, dry it, leave your face dry for like an hour. Just better safe than sorry. If you don't have an hour, 15 minutes, half an hour, but you want it to be completely dry before you put your tretinoin on, then you wanna follow up with moisturizer, because again, this is a really drying product. I have some recommendations for moisturizers later on in the video, so stick around for that. You can also put a moisturizer on before, then do your tretinoin if you feel like the tretinoin is too strong. So if in the beginning you're finding that it's just too much, you can actually put your moisturizer on first and then the tretinoin. And when you're in the very beginning too, you could use it once a week. Try and get your skin to adjust to it. So 3 of the most important things that you need to consider when you're doing tretinoin is start low, go slow, do not overdo it. The results are gonna come, you just have to be patient. Number 2 is apply it on clean, completely dry skin. You don't want it to be damp at all, because that's gonna increase the chances of irritation. Number 3 is sun protection. So tretinoin is gonna make your skin more sensitive to the sun, and it is so important that you wear sunscreen. You should be wearing sunscreen on your face every single day, but especially when you're on tretinoin, do not go out in the sun without sunscreen. Do not do it. It can really mess up your skin. You need to treat your skin as if it is like baby skin when you're using tretinoin. Like I said, it is such a powerful ingredient, so you need to take every precaution, and including sunscreen. All day, every day, do not go out into the sun while using tretinoin, even if you haven't used it in a couple of days. When you're on your tretinoin treatment plan, sunscreen every single time you leave the house. Just be extra cautious. You don't want to deal with any extreme sunburns while on tretinoin. Again, it's just when you're dealing with the irritation, the flakiness, the active acne from the purge, the last thing you want is a really bad sunburn. Most people also use their tretinoin at night. So this is what I have done. So it's a really simple routine. Do a very gentle cleanser, dry my face with a towel, leave my face to dry for an hour if possible, do my pea-size amount of tretinoin, put it all on my face. If you see any whiteness after you've rubbed it in, you've used too much tretinoin. So it's just a very small amount. I think that I used 1 whole tube in maybe a year, or actually, I think I might still be on my first tube. I have a bunch of backups because I keep getting my Felix prescription refilled, because I know that I love this product so much. I want to have as many backups as possible, a little bit goes a long way. So if you can get your hands on 1 tube of tretinoin, it could last you a whole year, and that's pretty much all that you need. That's a routine that I've been on ever since that I started it. When I was experiencing a few breakouts here and there, I thought maybe that I needed to increase the percentage of tretinoin. So I actually ordered this from Felix, which is 0.04, so that's a little bit stronger, and this is in gel form. So there's 2 different kinds. You can get cream or gel. And I started using this for a couple of weeks or maybe a month, and I just found that I just really liked the normal cream one. And I think that there's differences between the gel and the cream that you can research yourself. Again, I'm not an expert here, but I found that I actually liked the weaker one and in cream form, then I liked this one. I actually have a few of these. So what I'm planning to do is I'm planning to use this on my neck because I find the gel just feels nice on my neck and it can help with wrinkles. So I definitely do have some lines here, and I'm planning to use that here. But you can consider the different kinds, so you can research on your own what kinds that you want. But again, I recommend that you start on the lowest prescription to begin with and then see how you go. I think that my plan for moving forward is I'm going to try to increase the frequency that I'm using this, because like I said, I only use it every 2nd night or every 3rd night, and I've pretty much done this for the past 2 years. So my skin really is used to tretinoin. So I'm going to try to incorporate it a little bit more. Say, for example, if I'm using it only twice a week, I'm gonna try and use it 3 times a week, maybe every other week, and kind of just going up slowly like that. Again, I've been doing this for 2 years, but it's still a really strong ingredient and it still can cause a lot of irritation. Another tip that I have is when you're applying tretinoin is take Aquaphor or Vaseline or any type of petroleum jelly and put it on the corners of your mouth, the corners of your nose, and the corners of your eyes. And this is going to protect the tretinoin from getting in there, because I find that something I really struggle with is dryness on the sides of my mouth. It can get really sore and cracked on the sides of your mouth. So you want to try and protect that area from the tretinoin, because there's no reason why you need tretinoin in the corners of your mouth. So now I'm going to talk about a few products that have really helped me on my journey. So I've obviously mentioned this is the tretinoin that I use. I did try out the stronger one, but I didn't like it as much, so I'm just sticking with this one. Another thing that I was prescribed alongside tretinoin from Felix is this gel. I'm not even going to try and pronounce this, but this is another acne fighting agent, and I find that this really helped with the purge. So on nights that you're not using tretinoin, I found that this would calm down any irritation that I had from the purge or any active acne. So this is something that you can look into as well. So you're kind of having like double duty with the acne fighting if you're using both of these. But again, just a reminder to use a gentle cleanser and lots of moisturizer and sunscreen when you're using 2 active ingredients. I also recommend that you stop any AHAs or any chemical exfoliants, because this is doing the job for you. Even just tretinoin, it is the most powerful exfoliator that you can get. So you don't need extras until maybe you're far along in your journey and maybe you consult with your dermatologist. But I would recommend just stopping everything. You want to see what's working as well. So this is all you need. For moisturizer, you're going to want a pretty heavy moisturizer even in the summer, because your skin is going to be very dry. So this is one of my favorites. This is the Innisfree Orchid Enriched Cream. So I picked this up from Sephora. You can get it from other places. It's just a beautiful, really rich cream. I'm almost done, you can see, but I find that it locks in moisture really well. Another one that I like is the CeraVe Intense Moisture Repair. That's a great one. You can get that from the drugstore. And then for sunscreen recommendations, I have 3 favorite ones. One of them I am out of, so I don't have it. But the first one is the Glossier Invisible Shield. This doesn't feel like sunscreen at all. There's 0 white cast on my skin tone. I don't know about other skin tones, but it's just an amazing one. SPF 35, it's like $25. You actually can't order it online in Canada, so I picked up 3 of them when I was traveling in LA, and I just love it so much. The next one is this Laneige sunscreen. This is a beautiful formula. It has a little bit more of a white cast, but once you blend it in, you can't see it at all. It's a beautiful packaging as well. It just feels so nice. And this is SPF 50. So the higher, the better. I think 50 is perfect. SPF 35, that's a little bit low for my liking, but it does the trick. Anything above 30, I think. But again, I'm not a dermatologist, okay? And then the other one is the Paula's Choice. I'll put it up on the screen because I'm forgetting the exact name of it, but this one is tinted and I love it. I want you to know that your acne doesn't define you. You are not any less beautiful because you have acne. It's not something that you need to fix, or you're not broken because of it. Acne is something that's totally normal that a lot of people go through. It's okay to have acne. It's totally normal to have acne, but it's also okay to want to get rid of your acne. And I want you to know that you're buckling in for the long haul, but it's gonna be a worthwhile journey for you.